YouTube, welcome to Groove Builders. I'm Disorderly Cone, and in this episode, we're going to be building one of the universe's most diabolical creatures. Of course, I'm referring to the Daleks, but don't worry, K9 and I have been working extremely hard to make sure the entire Groove Builders headquarters is prepared. Now, Groovers, I'm not going to lie to you, R2's coffee game is quite strong. However, his tea game needs a little bit of work, and I've heard these Daleks are really good at making tea. Groovers, let's get building.
Alright, Groove Builders, welcome to the workbench. We have this awesome Dalek here in some great Doctor Who packaging, and I'm not going to lie guys, I'm really excited. Let's go ahead and rip this thing open. Now the first thing we're going to see is our instructions and then our highly detailed metal. On the instructions themselves, we have a 4-page instruction booklet. This is pretty easy stuff. However, it can be a little bit difficult if we're not paying attention to what we're doing. On the front of the instructions, we have all the depictions for Metal Earth, including that 360 logo. Just scan that QWERTY code at the top. The Dalek itself fully constructed, some fold lines and engraving instructions, as well as the circles and triangles and what to do with those on the instructions. Let's go ahead and start working on the first piece, which is the Dalek's head. The first thing we're going to be working on is the luminosity discharges, or if you will, the little lights that light up when the Daleks talk. These of course are constructed by simple cones, and I really recommend using a punch for this. Now when you're making these cones, it's very important to line up the top circle piece with the outer edges. This will tell you if you've built the proper cone or if you need to fold it more. With the Dalek's eye stalk shroud basically complete, let's go ahead and move over to the dome. The dome is pretty easy to construct, and I definitely recommend using your thumbs to be able to achieve the proper angles. You could of course always use some kind of tool to get the same thing, however, your thumbs will do just fine for this particular part. Once you have this piece built the way you like it, it's time to attach all of the accessories. Make sure that you're doing a proper pull and twist to make sure that they are tightly on the dome. Okay, let's go ahead and work on our eye stalk, which is a combination of a few different pieces that we're going to be cutting out. Now when working on the eye stalk, I definitely recommend folding the long rectangular piece one piece at a time, and the reason for this is because if you don't, you'll end up with a bit of a triangle. One other thing to remember when building the eye for the eye stalk is to ensure that it is properly attached. Make sure it's really secure before you close it all up. With our head fully constructed, it's time to move on to our neck. Now, I didn't use a tool to form my neck piece, however, if you want to, I would definitely recommend doing it. You will need something similar to a glue stick in size in order to get a proper bend that you're looking for. If you are struggling a little bit with this piece, the top and bottom plate will make it a little bit easier to achieve the proper shape. On to the midsection of the Dalek. This piece has a couple of different parts going onto it, so it's very important to remember how the eye stalk was built because of how the telescopic manipulator arm combined with the manipulator neutral stick, also known as the little plunger piece, are built very similar. You really want to ensure a proper rectangle for this piece. You don't want to have a triangle, as at the very end when you're trying to connect the plunger, it will be a very odd connection. After constructing the communication arm, it's time to attach it to the midsection by folding the housing flaps 90 degrees and inserting them into the insertion holes. After attaching them, make sure you pull and twist the tabs to ensure a secure connection. The gun stick is formed by making a tube. I would recommend using a toothpick to start the formation and then use your fingers to close the seam. Cap the end and attach it to the housing piece 15. Similar to the one we just constructed, fold the ends 90 degrees and insert the tabs into the insertion holes. Don't forget to pull and twist the tabs for a secure connection. Take base piece number 16 and fold two 90-degree bends to form a step. Then take the main body and position it over the base. Insert the tabs into the insertion holes, ensuring a tight connection with a pull and twist. Depending on how your midsection was formed, you might need to bend the base step from its 90-degree angle to match up with the midsection. Form piece number 17 around the neck. Ensure to slide the tabs to the outside so they can be secured. At the end, these tabs will almost be invisible. This should give you a basic shape similar to the midsection. Take the head and attach it to the neck, ensuring the tabs are sliding to the outside of the neck. As always, twist and pull the tabs for a secure connection. Once all the tabs are secure and you're happy with the look, attach the midsection. Before moving on, go over all the tabs to see if they're blocking any insertion holes. Piece 18's tabs will be inserted along the edges of the base. Slowly form the piece around the base until you achieve the proper shape. Make sure you lock up the back nice and tight. With the upper half done, it's time to work on the Dalek-anium-based polycarbonate armor. I use my fingers to slowly form the piece, being careful not to overbend any one panel. When I completed the desired shape, I bent the back tabs 90 degrees, inserted them into the holes, and folded them over, creating a lock. With our armor looking good, we can attach piece 20 to the top. This piece acts like a border and can help you form the armor if you had a hard time getting it to the right shape. With the border secure, we can attach the upper body to the armor. When joining the pieces together, be sure not to scratch any of the metal around the insertion holes. Take your time and go around the edges to secure the pieces together carefully. Finally, we are on to piece 21, which is the base of the Dalek. First thing we're going to do is clean up any of the scrap metal left by the pieces we cut out earlier. Then we're going to go ahead and attach it to the base, being careful not to scratch any of the metal around the upper base of the Dalek. Ensure to pull and twist your tabs for a secure connection. After that, we are going to begin forming the rim of the Dalek. This is done by going around the border and doing graduated bends of 45 degrees. After bending one section successfully, you can use it as a guide for the rest.
Alright Groove Builders, we did it! We built ourselves a golden Dalek. And I must say, this build was a lot of fun to do. Let's go ahead and turn it on.
Would you care for some tea?
Actually, yeah, I would love some orange pico tea. But first, if you could do me a favor, just go over to that pedestal over there. When you're done, K9 will show you to the kitchen. Alright Groove Builders, let's talk about this model. The first thing we're going to be talking about is construction difficulty. This Dalek is pretty easy to build. There's only a few steps that are a little bit tricky. The first one I want to talk about is the head. The head itself is very similar to R2-D2's, where you have to make a dome. However, this dome is a little bit more shallow than R2's dome. And you're probably going to have to use your thumbs in order to be able to get those proper bends. Groovers, just remember to line up the edges on those domes, and that will make sure that all the pieces become uniform. You don't want a lopsided dome, and you definitely don't want any pieces sticking out after you're done. The second part that can be a little bit tricky is bending all of the rectangles correctly for the various eye stalks and weapons. My suggestion is to take your time and make sure that each bend is an equal 90 degrees. Without this, you will end up with more of a diamond shape than a rectangle shape that you need. The second thing I want to talk about is the build time. I found this Dalek took me about an hour and 10 minutes to build, but that was fumbling with my camera. I think the average Groove Builder could probably build it in about 45 minutes to an hour. That being said though, it's very important to take your time with these kinds of models because although they might be simple, it's very easy to mess up a part, especially for rushing through it. Alright Groove Builders, that brings us to the end. I had a great time building this Dalek with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool videos coming down the pipe. Until next time, Groove Builders, keep building.